I stopped using the viral TikTok technique of finger coiling my curly hair, and here's why. Now, first of all, what is finger coiling? There are two different types that I know of. You can either just simply use your finger to curl round your hair, or you can use the rolling technique where you start from the bottom, curl it all the way up, and then let your hair curl back down. You can also use a brush to do these techniques as well, which can often give you more definition. But I used to use my finger and I did this for so long. Now, the main reasons why someone might want to use a finger curling technique or a finger coiling technique is because it is believed to create much more definition. It is often used to enhance your curl pattern if some areas of your hair aren't very uniform, and it can also make your hair last a little bit longer, so it helps in the longevity side of things. Or you may just actually really like how it looks. For me, it was for definition. I believed that using this technique gave me a lot of definition, and it did. It made my curls very uniform, very tight, and very flat. But this is also a problem. So I stopped using this technique because my hair wasn't getting any volume. Yes, it was super defined, but there was no volume specifically at the root. And this is because you are creating these little curls, curl-like clumps around your head that aren't actually where your hair wants to go. You're manipulating it into a certain curl, which may give the desired look for some people, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I used it for a while, like I said, but since moving away from this, I have so much more volume at my root. My curls actually look more defined, and this is the reason why. With finger coiling, you are making your hair go in a certain direction, even if it's not natural to the way that your curl actually wants to form. So with this being said, if you are finger coiling your hair in a certain direction, but your hair naturally wants to go in the opposite, you're not actually going to achieve a curl. It's going to be more flat, it's going to be more straight. You might end up with your curls not lasting as long because your hair is unraveling in its natural way that it wants to go the longer your hair is left. And generally this means that your hair is actually going to look, in turn, less defined and more frizzy, and it's not going to last as long as you may want it to. Also, this is pretty much a known fact, even in these viral videos that go viral on TikTok, is that it takes so much time. This is why I didn't use the rolling technique and I used the one where you just kind of literally like swirl your hair in your finger, because this did take a little less time for me. And luckily for me, I actually don't have that thick hair. When it comes down to it and I put my hair all together, it's really, hold on, it's really actually quite thin. So for me, it didn't take like ages, but I know that this is a big factor for some people as to why they don't use this method, so just keep that in mind as well. Also, if you are doing these techniques, you're going to need a lot of slip. You need a lot of slip in your hair when you're styling anyway, and this means a lot of moisture and using a leave-in conditioner that is very slippy, not very heavy, not very thick. And what this is going to mean is that you're causing less mechanical damage, less breakage when you are styling your hair. And this does apply to all techniques, but most specifically for this, when you are using a brush to really like curl your hair and unravel it down. I'll try and insert a clip of me doing this. This can cause breakage. It can cause your hair to actually like be pulled out, like literal strands come out of your hair, because there is not enough slip and there is a lot of tension being put on your hair. So moving on to the technique that I now actually use, which is using the brush styling technique. And so I'm still using a brush, but I'm using it in a very different way to this viral method of using the brushes. So I use a Tangle Teezer brush. Now don't zoom in too close because there's probably hair in this. But this is what I use, and it is the Tangle Teezer. So it is actually designed to be used on wet hair. It detangles and it can be used for styling. So if you've seen my recent updated curly hair routine that is already up on my channel, I will leave it in the iCards and link it down below. I use a brush now to style my whole hair. I also use the flip section method, which I believe was kind of created, or I seen it from Sophie Marie Curly. But she uses that technique and I love it so much that I have also adopted using a brush to style my curls. And what you do is you take your brush, which is the Tangle Teezer, highly recommend. You pop your finger on the side of it and you glide it down your hair. What this does is it creates the curl clumps, but not curl clumps that aren't naturally going to be there. So your curls actually forming in their natural place that they want to be, and they are curling in the natural curl that they want to curl in, which in turn is going to give you so much more definition. And also by using this brush at your root, you can lift it off your root, which is going to give you volume as well. Also adding to the volume is the fact that your curls are now not going to be forced to be in bigger curl clumps than they want to be. They're going to be in their natural curl clumps, which is meaning that you're going to have more curls throughout your head if that's how your curls are going to go, which means you're going to see less scalp, there's going to be a lot more volume, and it's going to appear like you have thicker hair, which for me is a big win. Also with this technique, I find a lot less frizz. So obviously, like I said again, when you're finger curling, I think it's finger curling, you aren't sticking to the natural curl pattern that your hair wants to go in. Whereas with a brush, you are smoothing down your curls at the same time as encouraging them to bounce, to go in their natural direction. And what this means is that there's going to be less frizz, whereas in comparison to finger coiling, you aren't smoothing down your curls, you're creating them to go into a clump together, but it's not smoothing the actual cuticle of the hair down. So in turn, you're still going to get frizz, even though you've got the definition, whereas with the brush technique, you're getting both. And lastly, I do just want to say that this is all about preference. There are still some times where I will finger coil my hair or finger coil pieces of my hair, like specifically my fringe pieces that I want to be more uniform and very springy. I want to force them into a uniform curl pattern. I will use that. And it's also about preference. If you really like how finger coiling looks on your hair, definitely go for it. It's absolutely fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this technique. Just make sure that you're using a lot of slip and kind of be mindful of where your hair naturally wants to curl before you do it if you want your hair to last longer. And like I said, this technique is working for me at the moment. I may go back to finger coiling. You never know. I have just been obsessed with this technique since I found it, and I genuinely don't think I will ever go back. It's so easy, it's so quick. It gives me the best results in terms of definition and volume, which is often a hard thing to get the balance of. If you've kind of identified problems within this video that you struggle with, such as having definition but still frizz, not having enough volume, having curls that are really clumped together where you can still see your scalp, I hope that this helps you and gives you kind of an idea of where you may be going wrong or where you may want to try different techniques in your next styling session. In your next styling, I don't even know what to call that, when you next style your hair. So I know this has been a really short video, but I hope it's been really helpful. If you want to check out my updated curly hair routine, it is already up on my channel. And thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye.